Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin. As always, I'm joined by my cohort, Mr. Chip Chirimbes. Chipper,
Yes.
it's been a while since we talked. We're doing this once a week. We're going to up the ante, though, next week, Chipper, for the first two rounds of the
Yep.
NBA playoffs. It's going to be 2 times a week. How you doing, buddy?
Well, we should. I'm doing very well, thank you, Ross, and we should because those are big games and big money, and there's a lot of interesting takes that are going to be happening. I mean, there's wild play-ins. To me, I'm dumbfounded. We had talked about that before.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have the defending NBA champions having to play a one-game elimination, so that's kind of strange, to be sitting on that. But baseball's here, Ross, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And I know you've been knocking them dead, and I've been hitting my big games, and it's just the way to go. But I'm looking forward to the NBA playoffs without a doubt.
On occasion, I look at the standings at Sports Capping. There's about 75 guys that get monitored there. Me and you are two of them. And I said, oh, man. I said, we're at the top of the standings in a lot of categories. Yet we take a lot of flack on these videos. But in any event,
well, I had a really poor run during the NCAA tournament. I have to admit that we did 2 a week, and I think I was like 2 and 5 or something along those lines. It just didn't work out during that time, but that happens. That's part of the business, Ross. Nobody wins every day. Nobody.
No. Even with that, you're number 15 overall at that site in all sports. I'm number 8. On the other side of the equation, Chipper, since last year in Major League Baseball, for whatever reason, they haven't updated it just to this year. So probably because of the short season last year in Major League Baseball, you're number 4 in Major League Baseball this year and last year, up over 30 units. I'm number 10 during that course of time. I'm also number 2 this year in Major League Baseball. And Chipper's right up there as well. And then in the NBA, I'm number 4 overall. Chip's number 7 over the last 30 days in the NBA. So a nice run there. So my point being, we're doing pretty well. So,
well, I'm most proud, Ross, is that in a number of different sports and categories, I'm always in the hunt. And on the leaderboard in college football, NFL, and now basketball and baseball as well. So it's something I both of us take a lot of pride. We put a lot of work into what we do, and I don't think people understand the what we go through when it doesn't work right for us.
No, we don't like to lose. I wish that we could record some of the conversations that me and Chip have after bad losses. We profess we got to get beyond that. We do, but you got to talk to somebody once in a while that does what you do on a daily basis and understand some of the frustrations that come along. And we very seldom brag to each other. It's always pretty much when
if we do, it's an update on what's been happening more than I'm so great.
Exactly. It doesn't border on arrogance whatsoever. Chip, speaking of all that, and today, folks, by the way, we're recording on the 13th, which is a Thursday evening. We're going to give you 2 free baseball plays today, one from Chip, one from me. I know ordinarily we do an NBA show weekly, but here's the thing, folks, because we had to tape the night before because of personal obligations that need to be met tomorrow. The NBA at this time of year, number 1, is a crapshoot. Number 2, as of right now, there's no lines up for the Friday NBA games, because it's tell the folks, Chip. It's
so much changes. So much changes, Ross, on what happens tonight to set up tomorrow's game because of the jockeying for position here. Yeah. So somebody clinches a spot, they get locked in. Maybe they're not locked in right now when you're asking us to make a decision, but to be locked in by the time their game's over tonight. So it's really not fair to the customer or to us right now for us to try and figure out what's going on when it's moot. It's really there's no point in doing it. Baseball's here, and we're doing very well with it. So we'll give them a little taste of baseball right now before the summer starts.
I do have a 10-star top play up tonight. You're probably not going to get to it by the time you view this video in the NBA. But in any event, Chip, you got some hot streaks going on top of these rankings.
Right.
Tell the folks a little bit about how hot you've been.
Well, my A play, a mega buck winner, is my single strongest play, and I've been hanging my hat on that for years. And currently I've won 26-9 in the last 33. And you know that we're not laying big favorites. You would think I'm plus 17, but I'm actually plus like 18.5 because of the plus units we're taking back here. And Ross, that includes a loss with that Arizona game that I'm still not going to get past.
Let it go. Let it go.
Rain, go away.
Those are tough, though, man. I was on the other, like I said, I was on the right side of that one.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I knew when you were upset what you were going through is I encountered the same thing last year. And there's nothing worse than you think you got the winner, and you look at the site and it's graded a loser. Wait a minute,
And they left the field with the lead, and the next day when they finished the game, they had the lead. But I lost.
So in any event, Chip, my Major League Baseball 40-25 now in the year, 26-13 over my last 39. I had my 5-game win streak snapped this afternoon as Milwaukee was defeated by St. Louis 2-0. Boy, Corbin Burns, 6 starts this year, Chipper, a 150 or so ERA. We were talking off air. He's walked one guy in like 35 innings pitched this year.
Those are the type of walk to strikeout ratios. I mean, that reminds me, Juan Marichal was like that. Dennis Eckersley was like that, where these guys aren't going to give you anything, and you're going to have to put the ball in play. And he's striking everybody out. I mean, it's just outrageous.
Yeah.
Brewers don't score for him, so he hasn't posted any wins. But I saw him coming off the injured list in this game this afternoon that you're talking about. Yeah. And I hesitated because of that. He only went 5 innings as it was.
Yes.
But when he had 9-10 strikeouts and
9 strikeouts, he walked his first guy of the year, 1 earned run, which came on a solo homer in the first.
There you go.
And 74 pitches they pulled him. Now, me and you have had these discussions about guys getting pulled too early. We're old school. We used to rely on, I should say, we used to watch managers that relied more on instinct. And part of the art of being a manager back then was you knew when to leave a guy in or when to pull him. You knew your players really well. Now, like you said, Chipper, it's almost robotic.
We don't need a manager. We just, you reach that, he's out automatically. He's throwing that X amount of pitches. He's facing this guy for the 3rd time. This is ridiculous. These guys, they don't give a player a chance to pass the eye test, like you said. When you're looking out there and you say he's dominating, Cole had a game like that the other night. 3-2 lead in the 8th. And for what reason? 79, 85 pitches, whatever it was. The guy's supposed to, he's a big, strong guy. He's got to go 130 pitches if he has to win the game.
Well, out of 130 is something you leave a guy in that long if he's throwing a no-hitter, right? That seems to be the norm. I don't have a problem with the 100-pitch barrier, okay? But when you take a guy out after 70, 80 pitches, especially in the American League where you don't have to pinch hit for him. You know what I mean? In a close game, I can almost understand it in the NL. If you got guys in scoring position in a 1-0 game, you're behind. It's the bottom of the 6th or whatever the case may be. I understand it. But anyway, we're crying over spilled milk.
Okay.
All right, let's get to our free picks in Major League Baseball. I'll start with you, Chipper.
All right. I got a great game here. I really do. And it's the Mets are going to play Tampa. Now, Tampa's coming off a series where they just hosted the Yankees, and it looks like the Yankees have finally got a measure of revenge against the Rays. Tampa Bay has dominated the Yankees, up until this season. Even this year, they started 5-1 against them. But they're sending their best hurler out there, a guy that maybe Cash doesn't exactly keep on a pitch count. Glasnow, we talked about that, against David Peterson, who's 1-5 for the Mets, or 5.54. The Mets are starting to play a little bit better. They really are. They've won 7 in a row. But I think Tampa, bouncing off this one New York team to the other, has got a major advantage. They're 12-4 at home, Ross, in interleague games, and they're 20-8 against the National League at home. Meanwhile, the Mets are only 2-5 in interleague plays, and 1 out of 5 the last 5 meetings against Tampa Bay. It's a big number. I know I hate laying this kind of number, and probably if you were calling me for my personal play on the day of the game, we wouldn't be using this game. But I think it's a winner, and I'm giving you Tampa Bay over the Mets.
And right now, as we speak, Tampa Bay is a -147 money line favorite. Keep in mind, folks, by the time you view this video, you may not view it until tomorrow. these lines are subject to change, and we're at a distinct disadvantage here because we are putting out a pick the night before, and I know that neither one of us are really keen on doing that, especially when it comes to pay plays. But it is what it is, and we're 6-0 the last 3 videos, by the way, folks, between the both of us. My play comes in the game between the Cincinnati Reds and Colorado Rockies. That game will take place at Coors Field in Colorado. And Wade Miley gets a start for the Reds, and he's coming off that great no-hit performance at Cleveland. Was that the guy that he didn't walk anybody, but he hit a batter? Is that what it was, Chip?
No, it wasn't him. That was Means.
Okay. All right. In any event, he's coming off a no-hitter. And he's pitched. Beside that, he's been very good this year. I mean, 6 starts, a 2.00 ERA, 0.75 WHIP, 3 starts on the road, Chipper, an 0.90 ERA and 0.55 WHIP, and he's averaging just a shade under 7 innings pitched per start on the road. On the other hand, Herman Marquez gets the start for the Colorado Rockies. He's been in terrible form over his last 3 starts. He's gone 0-3 with a 10.97 ERA and a 2.25 WHIP. And by the way, a lot of pitchers struggle at Coors Field. Well, Wade Miley hasn't been one of them of late. As a matter of fact, he's made 2 starts at Coors since 2018 and has posted an 0.84 ERA in those 2 starts, which is unheard of at Coors Field these days. Colorado's bullpen, very shaky home and away. I'm going to go with the Reds here. I like the price, 105 against Colorado. I'm probably going to be siding with public money on this one, which I don't like to do, but sometimes you just can't ignore the numbers, Chipper. So I'm going with Cincinnati minus 105. Chipper's on Tampa Bay minus 147 over the Mets. And those are our free plays, and those games take place, folks, on Friday the 14th. In any event, Chipper, anything you want to add before we leave?
Yeah, I do. There's been 4 no-hitters officially this year, 2 of them against the Cleveland Indians, and they didn't account Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hitter, but they gave him a complete game. Yeah. Now think about this. He pitched 7 innings, and it's now a complete game if it's part of a doubleheader. But if you don't give up any hits, it's not an official no-hitter. Major League Baseball, each and every day, they never fail to surprise me and disappoint me.
Yeah. Well, you know, they never had to deal with these 7-inning games up until last year because of the COVID crisis and trying to condense the schedule into a short amount of days. They decided, because they had to play a lot of doubleheaders, so they didn't tax pitching staffs. They went to 7 innings. They thought that was a pretty good idea, so they adopted it again this year. Unfortunately, what Chipper just mentioned, I don't think they thought ahead of time on that one. What if a guy throws a no-hitter in a 7-inning game? We're not going to count that officially. Right. But if he throws all 7 innings and wins or loses, he's recorded as having a complete game. So a little bit hypocritical.
It doesn't make sense to me, Ross. It really doesn't. You know, it's tiny little stuff. It really doesn't mean too much in our industry. It's just baseball purists like us.
I mean, we both played at a high level when we were young. And
you know what? I remember one day, I told you, it had to be back in maybe it was only 30 years ago. There was a hit and run. I mean, there was a hit and run play, and I don't mean an automobile. I don't mean an automobile accident either.
Yeah. And I always laugh when I see these shifts and the third baseman all the way over at shortstop, and somebody doesn't want to lay down a bunt. What you you got to hit a home run every time you're up. Anyway,
it's not macho.
And any event, after going through all these rankings, I failed to mention where you could find our paid selections. ChipWins.com, Ross, RBWins.com. That's ChipWins.com. RBWins.com. It's there. You'll find our best plays each and every day. You'll also find either weekly, monthly, or annual subscriptions you could purchase. That's ChipWins.com, RBWins.com. There you will pay a little to make a lot. Until the next time, I'm Ross Benjamin, and for Chip Chirimbes, good luck and God bless, folks.